Listen to that. Hopefully it's silence. I'm praying that it's fucking quiet. Um, and hopefully this goes better than last time because I filmed a video, started to upload it, and found out that it was upside down, and I don't know how to fucking fix that. So I'm doing something else this time, and that is the Cosmere Book Tag by Read and Find Out, and I'll put a link to their video down in the description. So let's get straight to it. Also, actually before that, I have some really great news. I just got a call back for a job interview at the local library, and I really, really want it, so hopefully I can get it. Cross your fingers for me. I have another interview on the 11th. Okay, now to the actual tag. These are based on Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novels. They are all of his adult epic fantasy books, and I'm actually going through the list right now. So first up, we have number 1, Elantris, a book or series where the magic fails its people. I'm gonna go with Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I have not reviewed this book yet. There is a very good reason why I have not reviewed this book yet. And I will be doing a book review of it sometime. I don't want to spoil anything about it. But there's a very specific problem I had with this book. It's not actually an issue. It is a me issue, and I'll explain all of that when I get to it. It is very nice. It is YA, which I don't read a lot of. So it's pretty easy to get into. It's not like a super complex story, in my opinion. The characters are pretty decent. But it's YA, and I don't read a lot of YA. Generally, it's not like the greatest of great stuff. But whatever. It's actually good. I definitely, like I said, I have complicated feelings about it, so I'm going to go to number 2, which is Mistborn, Your Favorite Ragtag Gang. Now, this one is not going to be a book probably a lot of people have read, and it is Guild Wars, Edge of Destiny, which were a series of 3 novels released for, that span the gap between Guild Wars 1, which I've been playing. I've been playing Guild Wars since 2006, so I've been playing it a very long time. And this is Edge of Destiny, and it is my favorite. That is actually the name of the group, Edge of Destiny, and I love them. They are awesome. It is a. It's basically it's another 5 race group, but the races aren't elf, dwarf, or anything like that. They are Char, which are giant cat gorilla people, and goats. Cat gorilla bull people. The Norn, which are your kind of standard Viking giants. Then you have humans. Then you have Sylvari, which are sort of elven, but they're more like they're tree, the plant people. And then you have the Zura, which are not like dwarves. They're more technologically oriented, short people with big heads, and they're cave-dwelling people. Well, they were, but it's complicated. But I really do love this book. It's my favorite of the 3 that were released. And it's fun. Even if you haven't played the games, I think you could have a lot of fun reading this book. Then we're going to go on to number 3, Warbreaker, an interesting family dynamic. Like I said, I don't read a lot of YA, and I don't read a lot of middle grade. So maybe this isn't super uncommon. But I'm going to go with Fablehaven, and that's because the family dynamic is pretty healthy. It has like a healthy family dynamic going on. It's not another orphan saves the world type deal, and I like that because you don't see a lot of it in the stuff that I normally read. Maybe things have changed in YA, but I don't really think they have. But yes, Fablehaven, it's a lot of fun. Now, number 4, Stormlight Archives, the biggest book you've read and the biggest on your TBR. Okay. The biggest book I've read, I don't know exactly which one it is. It might be Oathbringer. I'm not sure if A Wise Man's Fear is that big. I have some omnibuses I've read that are pretty large. I don't really know which one's like the biggest, but I know the biggest on my TBR. It's probably the biggest, longest thing I own, and that is A Journey to the West, which is one of the great 4 Chinese classics. This book is broken into 4 volumes, and I think it has a total of like 2,000 something pages. 2,330 pages long. This is the hardest thing I've ever tried to read. It is so interesting, but at the same time, unbelievably hard to deal with. It just, I don't know. It is been on my TBR for years. I got this book for I got this series for my grandma for my 18th birthday, which was a long time ago, and I have never finished. I finished the first book, and it's just. You talk about books that haven't aged well. This isn't. This is one of those ones that just hasn't aged well. It's not. I mean, I'll give you an example. Where are we? Okay, I'm not going to give you an example. Yeah, I will. Why? Let's see. First page. So. Where is it? Okay. It starts off. In the arithmetic of the universe, 129,600 years make one cycle. Each cycle can be divided into 12 phases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The 12 branches, each phase lasts 10,800 years. Now, within a single day, the positive begins at the time 1. At 2, the cock crows. At 3, it is not quite light. And, that's just an example. It is not the easiest thing to read. I really want to read it because I've watched a lot of movies and stuff based on A Journey to the West, and I always find them interesting. I always find the characters interesting. I want to read it. I even find Sun Wukong very interesting, but it is complicated. There. That's what you get. Number 5, the Alloy era of Mistborn. A series continuation that you didn't like as much as the original. And I'm going to go with A Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones, which is the direct sequel of, and also the indirect sequel of Howl's Moving Castle. It's just not as good. That's just it. It's a fun book, but it's not as good. I don't like the romance in it as nearly as much. It's just not my thing. But the third book that came out, A House of Many Ways, I think, is actually really good. Down to 6. White Sand, an underdog story. I'm going to go with Dragon's Wild by Robert Asprin. It's not your traditional underdog story. It is not about somebody who's weaker, because Griffin is a dragon, and they're very rare, very powerful. However, this book mostly deals with him learning to take over the gambling crime. It's like a gang. It's basically a little tiny mob that he's learning to take over, and it's fun because he is a gambler, but taking control is really out of his element, so he's that kind of underdog. Let's go on to Arcanum Unbound, your favorite anthology. And this one's actually very easy. I've seen a lot of people struggle with this one, but mine's going to be Thieves' World, which is edited by Robert Lynn Asprin and Lynn Abbey. It is an old series, so some of the short stories in here are not as easy to read. They have not aged well. However, if you like dark fantasy, this is a dark fantasy anthology. I have not finished the entire series because I think it goes up to like 18 books. Robert Asprin wrote a lot, edited a lot, and like his Myth Adventure series is like 21 books now, even after he passed away. So, this is an old fantasy set in a city called Sanctuary, which is like a city on the edge of an empire, and it's where all the criminals kind of go. But it's great. It really is. It's a lot of fun. It's dark. There's a part in the first book, I think it's in the first book, where a bunch of urchins try to kill a gang leader, and it goes very badly for the urchins. Investiture number 8, a cool magic system, and honestly, Ruin Lords by David Farland has probably one of the coolest systems in fantasy. I'd honestly put it up there past, or at least on par with Brandon Sanderson's magic systems and the Brent Weeks magic system. I don't like the book as much as I like those, but the magic system is really awesome. In it, you can give away, you can sell like attributes of yourself to other people, and it's quite a bit of money or protection, and you completely lose that trait. So if you were to sell your strength to somebody, then that person would get all of your strength, and you would be completely enfeebled. You can do that also with intelligence. I think perception, is one of them too. And it's just, the cost is so heavy for somebody that I can't think of anything where the cost is so dramatic, except for because I think it's more dramatic, more heavy than like Wheel of Time, where a male channeler will go insane. But it's still like it's just an amazing magic system. I'm kind of rambling today because I'm actually in a really good mood. So this takes me to the very last question. 9, Shadesmar, a book with alternate realms. And in this book, it's called Dimensions. It's a dimension hopping series. It is Myth Adventures by Robert Asprin. This book here is duology of Another Fine Myth and Myth Conceptions. And it's my favorite series. It is so funny. It is... Okay, here's the thing. I have read a few of the Terry Pratchett books, the beginning ones. Didn't quite like them. I definitely say these ones are funnier and better. Maybe not as... Well, I don't know. In the first ones, I really like them so much more than those books. I'm sure other people will disagree. But I loved this book. I love this book so much. Robert Asprin is my favorite writer, and it is definitely worth the thing. That is actually going to be it. So, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!